All the best for you joining with IPF.
Our vision to become a leading economic study program in enhancing knowledge and technology based on Islamic value in Southeast Asia by year 2025.
To achieve such vision, EPF sets four missions including internationalization, academic excellence, research core base, and empowering people. There are various achievements at national to international levels which are proof of our quality, as well as various institutions that are members of cooperation in various fields from national to international, including Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, China, Korea, to Spain. A perfect collaboration until we got institutional accreditation with an A grade from BANPT. What benefit you can get if you join this study program, including first, they will be given an opportunity to conduct students exchange to EPF university partners. Second, a valuable opportunity is given to conduct internship in financial institutions and governmental authorities. Third, they will be encouraged to attend and participate in international conference related to economics, banking, and finance. Fourth, they are prepared to reach English proficiency score or TOEFL. Fifth, they will be equipped by Islamic internationalization program at EPF character building programs. Facing competition in an increasingly open era of globalization, the development of insight, deepening of competence, and expansion of network is urgently needed to increase competitiveness. The strength of competitiveness also needs to be supported by the presence of professional staff with character born from a superior education process.
Welcome to the International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. IPF prepares the professional and competitive graduates in the area of economics, banking, Islamic finance, and Islamic economics. Let's join IPF and be part of the international community.
The International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance has various excellent programs including internship course for 6 semesters, fieldwork study abroad, international internship program, Arabic course for 2 semesters, inbound and outbound student exchange program, international conference delegation, certification of competence, delegation of international summer course, and foreign guest lecture program. Graduates of this degree are suitably qualified for employment in financial institution, the Financial Service Authority or OJK, central bank, and private public services, both global and nationally. EPF UMY towards a reputable program on Islamic economics. The dreams and hope can give you motivation and hope in life. The quality process and an outstanding environment support you on your way to success. Here, you are taught how to have noble character to lead to a superior and Islamic personality. Yogyakarta is a city as a mirror of world growth that continues to advance along with optimism for economic growth and accelerated development in various fields. In this city too, the first international program for Islamic economics and finance in Indonesia is located. EPF is the international program for Islamic economics and finance initiated by Dr. Mashyudi Mukarrabin and was officially launched in 2009 in collaboration with the Department of Islamic Economics, Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya. EPF is structurally under Department of Economics Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta.
IPF is a leading and reputable international program in Islamic economics and finance for undergraduate in Indonesia. IPF has a large network nationally and internationally with reputable institutions. IPF students has been sent to many countries for exchange students: Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, Turkey, and European countries. I strongly suggest you to join IPF. The graduates of IPF has worked in good institutions, whether in government or in private sectors. All the best for you joining with IPF.
Our vision to become a leading economic study program in enhancing knowledge and technology based on Islamic value in Southeast Asia by year 2025.
To achieve such vision, EPF sets four missions including internationalization, academic excellence, research core base, and empowering people. There are various achievements at national to international levels which are proof of our quality, as well as various institutions that are members of cooperation in various fields from national to international, including Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, China, Korea, to Spain. A perfect collaboration until we got institutional accreditation with an A grade from BANPT. What benefit you can get if you join this study program, including first, they will be given an opportunity to conduct students exchange to EPF university partners. Second, a valuable opportunity is given to conduct internship in financial institutions and governmental authorities. Third, they will be encouraged to attend and participate in international conferences related to economics, banking, and finance. Fourth, they are prepared to reach English proficiency score or TOEFL. Fifth, they will be equipped by Islamic internationalization program at EPF character building programs. Facing competition in an increasingly open era of globalization, the development of insight, deepening of competence, and expansion of network is urgently needed to increase competitiveness. The strength of competitiveness also needs to be supported by the presence of professional staff with character, born from a superior education process.
Welcome to the International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. IPF prepares the professional and competitive graduates in the area of economics, banking, Islamic finance, and Islamic economics. Let's join IPF and be part of the international community.
The International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance has various excellent programs including internship course for 6 semesters, fieldwork study abroad, international internship program, Arabic course for 2 semesters, inbound and outbound student exchange program, international conference delegation, certification of competence, delegation of international summer course, and foreign guest lecture program. Graduates of this degree are suitably qualified for employment in financial institution, the Financial Service Authority or OJK, central bank, and private public services, both global and nationally. EPF UMY towards a reputable program on Islamic economics.
pada hiburan tahun baru sebagai hiburan sekolah selesai. Pemimpin apa ya dari
The dreams and hope can give you motivation and hope in life. The quality process and an outstanding environment support you on your way to success. Here, you are taught how to have noble character to lead to a superior and Islamic personality. Yogyakarta is a city as a mirror of world growth that continues to advance along with optimism for economic growth and accelerated development in various fields. In this city too, the first international program for Islamic economics and finance in Indonesia is located. EPF is the international program for Islamic economics and finance initiated by Dr. Mashyudi Mukarrabin and was officially launched in 2009 in collaboration with the Department of Islamic Economics, Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya. EPF is structurally under Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta.
IPF is a leading and reputable international program in Islamic economics and finance for undergraduate in Indonesia. IPF has a large network nationally and internationally with reputable institutions. IPF students has been sent to many countries for exchange students: Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, Turkey, and European countries. I strongly suggest you to join IPF. The graduates of IPF has worked in good institutions, whether in government or in private sectors. All the best for you joining with IPF.
Our vision to become a leading economic study program in enhancing knowledge and technology based on Islamic value in Southeast Asia by year 2025.
To achieve such vision, EPF sets four missions including internationalization, academic excellence, research core base, and empowering people. There are various achievements at national to international levels which are proof of our quality, as well as various institutions that are members of cooperation in various fields from national to international, including Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, China, Korea, to Spain. A perfect collaboration until we got institutional accreditation with an A grade from BANPT. What benefit you can get if you join this study program, including first, they will be given an opportunity to conduct students exchange to EPF university partners. Second, a valuable opportunity is given to conduct internship in financial institutions and governmental authorities. Third, they will be encouraged to attend and participate in international conferences related to economics, banking, and finance. Fourth, they are prepared to reach English proficiency score or TOEFL. Fifth, they will be equipped by Islamic internationalization program at EPF character building programs. Facing competition in an increasingly open era of globalization, the development of insight, deepening of competence, and expansion of network is urgently needed to increase competitiveness. The strength of competitiveness also needs to be supported by the presence of professional staff with character born from a superior education process.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon, my dear brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for joining us today. So I am Dimas Bagus Metakusuma, your instructor of this course. So I would like to again welcome all of you that has joined this summer school program under the risk management on banking course. Okay, so can you hear my voice over there clearly? Just to double check. Mr. Aan, can you hear the voice clear there? Okay.
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Okay, so today we are going to have our first initial meeting for this course, by the way, and then we try to a little bit maybe explore what you are going to learn, and also we learn also together for the next 4 days on this course, and also what maybe some possible issues that can be discussed together regarding the risk management concept. I'm here just to facilitate yourself, not the one that maybe in terms of knowledge is better than you. So we can learn each other throughout this course. Okay, so before we start with the course, if I may open my class, I wish that you have already been enrolled, and then you can see the content of my class, by the way, if I may confirm once again. So all the courses and technical details of this course will be available in our learning management system, the My Class. So hopefully all of you has opened and has gone through all the course here. So if you see from the course, it is just introductory parts here of this course. So you can just open all the description from the descriptions, on risk management and others. And what the expectation of this course, and the references and the teaching method, and also all the assessments. So for the assessment individually will be comprises of essays, discussion, quiz, exam, and attendance. So here are the grade conversions that you may get for all activities that you have done. And then here is our reference in case that you are maybe looking for some references related to Islamic banking, finance, and others. You may open our journals here, published by our departments, that has been indexed by some international indexes. And then the textbook here, we have 2 books. The one is the risk analysis for Islamic banks. And then the second one is the risk management from practitioner's perspective. So you may open all these things in details. And for your information, every activities that you have done, hopefully you fill up the feedback survey. I guess all of you can see the feedback survey in the end of the respective days. So please open about the activities in respective days, so that we can get some feedbacks then. And then here are the activities since the first day until the 4th days, by the way. So in the first day, today basically is the course introductions, and then here some activities maybe you may open by your own, available videos, articles, some discussions, and also the PPT as well, if you just go through by your own. And once you are attending a respective day, don't forget to record your attendance here, by the way. So you just click the attendance one and click the submit. So because once you have submitted the attendance, then we may record your performance. And then the discussion here, you may open and you can just complete. And we set all these things are flexible. I mean, in terms of the duration for the discussions, except for the attendance. Attendance only for particular days, only the first day, for example. But for discussions, quizzes, will be very flexible. You may open tomorrow, maybe yesterday, the day after tomorrow, but the due date will be 20th of July. So the 20th of July, 11:59 p.m. would be the last submission for all the assignments, for all the activities. And this one, the first day also, we have the framework of risk management, And then the first day also nature of race and others. So for this one particularly, sisters and brothers, if you find this kind of appearance, yeah, so you need to tick first. You have to tick the text 2, yeah, textbook 2 first. Once you can open the chapter 2. So it does mean that the text 2 will be opened when you have been verified opening the textbook 2 here, yeah, automatically. So don't forget to tick this one. So you have the box there, just tick that one. So you can open the next these files. And other day here we have the first days, and the second days we have another chapters, yeah, and another chapters, yeah. So you can just go throughout the course, yeah, until the end of the days, till the 20th of July. And in the 20th of July, by the way, we have the final test and also the essay submissions. So by the way, you are requested to arrange or make short essays. Yeah, the detail has been given in the course outline if you have opened that. And please do submit that one to my class here. Yeah, the due date for this one will be on 20th of July, yeah, 11:59 p.m. The 3 days, 3 days and 10 hours from now. So please do submit that one, and also the attendance final exam will be open. So the final exam here, by the way, you may start now actually if you are ready, yeah. But because you are allowed to attempt only once, so my suggestions, just follow the sequence. So once you have finished, then you may open the last part here. And when you have opened, when you have clicked this one, you cannot repeat, or you cannot do it for the second chance. So you have to complete right away once you have opened or click this one, because you are only allowed to conduct it once, yeah, for the quizzes or exams, yeah, this one. And the next one, I guess you can just follow the sequence here. I have already put all the details. So if you have some maybe question on problem regarding with the processes here, you just contact us through the groups, or you personally can contact me. Okay, so before we start, do you have any feedbacks, or maybe you have any question first regarding with the my class here, please, brothers and sisters? Maybe you have any difficulties maybe to proceed with the LMS? Please just okay, please, Brother Sulaiman. Can you first unmute your Zoom?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Please, I'm among people that have problem with the registration. Up to now, I have discussed with the committee. The last time I discussed with them, I told them up to now they have not enrolled me on the group. And I asked them whether I can join the class. They say no problem. But now it seems that I have to join my class before I could be able to go out. But
Yeah.
For the past 3 days, I've been discussed with them. Up to now, they haven't enrolled me in the class.
Okay, thank you, Brother Sulaiman, for your informations. Yeah. So we have the committee here, by the way. Please, committee. So we have here some technical issues from Brother Sulaiman. So if you don't mind, please help us to settle the problem as soon as possible. Otherwise, you cannot access my class and cannot conduct some activities inside, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so let me double check again, Brother Sulaiman. Thank you for your information. Any other issues, Brother Sulaiman, or maybe other, please, if you have any issues. Okay, there is no issue so far. Okay, so I may close this one. And then we go to the material content. So, okay, so here is our first chapters about introduction to introduction to Islamic banking operations. So, so for all of you that you are going to open this slide has been available in the My Class. Yeah, so you just click by your own. So, by the way, sisters and brothers, why I put here as the first chapters, yeah, because brothers and sisters, I know that you came from different backgrounds. Some of you maybe not quite familiar with economics, with finance, or maybe some of you maybe are not coming from the economics backgrounds, yeah, and maybe some of you also the background of bachelor degree is not in economics or finance or maybe banking or from other part of knowledge perhaps. So therefore, we come from the same ground, learning together on banking, Islamic banking operations. So here is the objective of our discussion today. So just to give you brief understanding on Islamic banking operations. And then we start with the definitions, illustrations, and mechanism of Islamic banking operation. And meanwhile, if you have some questions, don't hesitate to interrupt, yeah, brothers sisters, in the middle of discussions. Yeah, don't mind. So here, just a brief, sisters, brothers. So the main basic understanding of Islamic banking operation or banking operation in general is just three parts: funding, lending, and also the operational activities. Yeah, so funding, lending, and operational activities within the lending and funding itself. So therefore, if we look at these basic definitions, actually the banking here is always conducting funding collections, funding distributions, and also try to make some benefit, some profit, yeah, between this funding and lending. So therefore, if you look at from these definitions, the banking actually would be having some liquidity management problem, yeah, financing problems, yeah, and also the profitability problems, because they are dealing with these three activities. Yeah, for example, here collecting funds in the form of wadi'ah and mudarabah, for example, and channeling financing in the form of murabahah, musyarakah, and others, and channeling profit sharing and bonuses from financing and also from the here based on this some contracts. Yeah. So therefore, if you look at this from previous operational definitions, you can see that the illustration of the banking operation like this. Yeah. So we do assume here that Islamic banking here tries to utilize some contracts, for example. Yeah. So here we have from the left side here, we have depositors, yeah, or maybe Rabbul Mal, for example, yeah, or investors, yeah, and they want to put in two different maybe channels or avenues. The first is demand saving deposit or the investment deposit. Yeah, so there are two difference. And once they have put in these two different avenues, so the bank will put into the same pools called pooling of funds. Yeah. So in the pooling of fund concept here, the bank don't see what the sources of the fund here, whether the demand or time deposit, regardless the categories. But the bank just want to channels this pool of fund into the financing activities. So from this regard, you can see there are two sides: the mudarabah here, the trade financing, and also the investment financing. Yeah, there are two avenues. So in the trade financing here, for example, yeah, so the bank will maybe implements the murabaha, for example, and then they are trading with the deposit with the entrepreneurs, yeah, and then they will also channel to the creditors, yeah, or entrepreneurs here. And then the investment also here, they will channel to the entrepreneurs. So the entrepreneurs here then will use the fund, yeah, in order to improve or create some other real activities. Yeah. So this from depositors to creditors here is the one-way channels. Yeah, one-way channels. Yeah, from the depositors to the creditors. However, because the bank here is living with the fund collecting fund and also financing the fund. So the bank also requires the return from the activities that they are doing. So from this regards, the bank also here will ask the entrepreneurs, yeah, or the creditors here to give back or pay back the funds. Yeah, become two sides here. The first here in terms of the investment activities financing in the form of profit and loss sharing, for example, somehow. And in terms of the trade financing here, in terms of the fund margin, for example, yeah. So the margin and also the profit loss sharing here from two sides will be pulled into one pool of fund in the bank's bank accounts, yeah. And then from the bank here will channel it back to the depositors based on the funding contract that depositors put in the beginning. Yeah, for example, the depositors here put in the form of demand and saving deposit, then the bank here will give them the return as the maybe bonus, for example. Yeah, and then if the depositors put in the form of investment, then will be as the profit and loss sharing concept. So it does mean that from this integrated activities between depositors, banks, and also the entrepreneurs here are connected each other. The channel is other and integrated and influence each other. So therefore, in the case of loss and profit sharing, the bank also must be ready to get some maybe corrective returns because this return from the depositors depends on what the bank got from the entrepreneurs actually. Yeah. So this one called the integrated intermediary system. Yeah. So they are interchannel is other. And the next one is how is the mechanism of Islamic banking operations? So here just some illustrations. If you just look at here. So in the intermediation process, the management of fund applies several approaches. So the mechanism here applied three different concepts: pooling of funds, the conversion of funds, and asset allocation of funds. So the bank somehow put different approaches. Yeah. So these approaches are aimed at managing asset and liabilities management and avoid mismatches or solvency, as well as liquidity shortages or liquidity. So whatever the bank did, yeah, in terms of intermediating activities, must also concern with the issue of mismatch. Yeah, because if you remember, yeah, somehow the bank applied short-term funding, yeah, but the bank conduct the long-term financing, yeah, or maybe the bank took the long-term funding, but maybe the short-term financing. So the short and long-term between the two sides here somehow are not linkage, a mismatch. So that the bank should take some strategies there. So in the context of, for example, the pooling of fund approach here, leave weaknesses in which the various funding types are not differentiated in terms of the time of maturity against a different time to maturity of the asset type. So I may say, I said to you before, in the pooling of fund approach, whatever sources of fund coming from the depositor side will be pulled into one pool account. And then this one pool account will be distributed to the different financing sectors, regardless the maturity that this fund coming from the depositor side. Yeah. So this one, from this concept, the mismatch quite widened, yeah, in terms of the occurrence. And the second one is the conversion of fund. Yeah. So the conversion of fund different with the pooling of fund. Namely, attempts to create a link between the funding and lending, which is based on liquidity needs. For example, a long-term deposit is channeled to the long-term investment project or long-term financing, such as home financing. So in this regard, the banks has already categorized what the best avenues for the short run funding to the short run financing, for example. So they are trying to link, based on the maturity, time of maturity. And the last one is the asset allocation of fund here, tries to match the asset allocation with the possible funding available according to their term of maturity. For example, if there is a long-term project investment that profitable, Islamic banking can trace through which available deposited fund this project is financed. So the second part here with the third part here, the third is quite look alike, but different is, if you read closely between the 2 and 3 here, difference. The 2 here, the main concept is from the deposited fund side. So it does mean that the bank will use the fund based on the availability of the fund in the deposit side, then channel to the financing side, the second approach. But in the third approach here, the way around. So the bank look at the what is the asset, what is actually the bank, what is the financing project that need to be maybe accommodated. So that the bank will look for from this targeted financing side, what will be the deposit fund that can be channeled so that they can link and match with the targeted allocation of fund projects, for example. So from these 3 different approaches, I may say that it is based on the bank conditions, based on the economics conditions. So if the condition is the bank actually they try to make big contribution or big impact to the society, perhaps the bank will apply the third one. So they look at the project first, and then look for through the balance sheet what is the deposited fund that connected with this targeted asset, for example, or targeted project, for example. And the third one, the second one here, if the bank apply the 2-1 here, so the bank tries to make the intermediation process become smooth or stable. So the bank try to manage the stability in the balance sheet. Between asset and liability, they are matched. And if the bank applied the first one, it means that the bank tries to improve or increase or enhance the intermediary activities, regardless on what the maturity happening in the balance sheet. So in terms of the leveling of risk, I guess the first one here quite risky, in terms of leveling of risk. And the second one here is I guess here is more smooth. And the third one here perhaps is maybe specific to the particular conditions. Because the bank should look for some more funding, based on the targeted asset or project that they want. So, but basically overall here, just to give you some information about what the bank is doing in terms of their operations. And here are just other examples, like in the case of Mudarabah financing, for example. So in the Mudarabah financing, Mudarib here, Mudarib is the depositors. Mudarib here, Mudarib, is the deposit, the bank here, the bank, become a fund manager in the subsequent transaction. So in the context of Mudaraba, there are two parties involved, so depositors, the banks, and also the last one is entrepreneurs. So the first part, depositors with the banks. So the depositors becomes the owner of the fund, and the bank here become the mudarib, then the one that will manage the fund. But in the second part, once the fund has been in the bank account, so the bank will be sweep. The rule becomes the Robul Mal. And then the bank will have rights to channel this fund to some targeted sectors or needed sectors in economy, so that it will be channeled with the entrepreneurs. So in this case, the entrepreneur become the mudarib. So the funds managers entrust the economic trade and investment made by entrepreneurs, and profit sharing related to fund managers and depositors or investors. So as I mentioned you before. So in this case, the relationship between the depositors or investors and the finance managers treat mudarabah as the deposit. Deposit in the first place. Meanwhile, the relationship between the fund managers and entrepreneurs treat mudarabah is a fund. So because they have the two stages relationship in terms of the transactions. So the former means depositors, investors, and finance managers. Indicates that the fund managers are not required to guarantee returns to the investors or depositors, as the contract is the partnership and implies risk sharing. In the first place, between the depositors and also the banks. And the letters denotes that a fund is treated as the investment funds. The letter means the relationship between the banks and entrepreneurs. And therefore, assets from investment fund do not incur capital charges for Islamic banks, as any losses are incurred on invested asset. So in this regards, the bank should ensure that the invested fund to the entrepreneurs is safe. Is safe. Therefore, in the case of mudarabah, the bank somehow also takes some monitoring activities to ensure that the entrepreneurs here is not devolved, or the project is smoothly run. In other words, the losses will directly pass to the depositors or investors and would not be absorbed by the banks. So in the case of mudarabah here, somehow the bank will not give some guarantee to the depositors. So the bank only give the indicative rate to the depositors, about the return of the invested capitals. However, given that there is no guarantee on deposit, potential losses and even default can occur due to the banking intermediaries. It can trigger any contagion effects. So even though there is no any guarantee in terms of return to the investors, but the bank must maintain the stability in the financial system, because assuming that they are interconnected each other, through the financial engineering, for example. So the contagion effect is also applicable in case of lending contracts, where the transaction is based on the laying asset, not merely deferred payment. So in this regards, whatever contract in the banks, they are still dealing with any contagion effects, because the bank and other sectors are interconnected each other. So what is the summary for these chapters before I pass to you, if you have some response and feedbacks? Actually, is the Islamic banking operations deals with three main activities, funding, lending, and also the profit channelings, so lending, funding, and profit channelings. So because of these three main activities, the bank may face some risk, either in the form of liquidity risk, either in the form of financial risk. So in terms of the third one is operational risk. So these three risks become part and parcel that make the bank become quite prudence, yeah, must be prudent, yeah, by taking some regulatory frameworks and so forth, so that they may be resilient in any shock coming into the system. Yeah, I think that's all for my short introductions. So if you feel you have some unclear information, or you want to confirm something, or you want to share about some issues in your perspective, you may be invited. Okay, please, if you have any questions, sisters, brothers. Yes, Dewi, maybe you have any question, Dewi? Oh, okay. Okay, brother, Pak Aan. Please, Pak Aan.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation, Mr. Pak Dimas. I'm very happy to join in your class because the Islamic financial banking is new subject for me. So I like and because according to explanation, I have something new in about the Islamic banking system. Like you just explained that in Islamic in banking system we have three intermediation of channel. The first one that's we know that's the pooling fund, and the second one the conversion of fund, and the third one the asset allocation. So in according to experience, according to opinion, which one the best for to be implemented for the banking, and in Indonesian banking system, which one the most implemented in Indonesian banking system? Maybe you can share your opinion about that. Thanks. I think so. Thanks for the chance. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Pak Aan, for the very good questions. Okay, I just pull first all the questions. Perhaps they ask some similar questions. Okay, please, Brother Sulaiman or Mr. Sulaiman, time is yours.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Presentation. My question goes like this. On these categories of funds, what bank do they consider in categorized fund in such manner? Are they consider the nature of the fund, let's say long-term funds, short-term, or the types of credit types of the depositor? Let's say that we have the issue of restricted and unrestricted depositors. What do they consider in categorize the fund into that category? Thank you. This is my question. Did you get my question, please?
Yes. I can understand your questions. Okay, any other questions from the audience, please? Any question from others? Okay, please, Brother Kante. Yes, please, Brother Kante, Hamid, time is yours. If you have any response.
Jaringan di rumah lu nggak drop, enggak apa?
Yes, please. Any other questions?
Beda tuh Telkomsel mah. Ini ya tahu semuanya anjir. Iya, karena sih semua kurang kata Aji. Lalu main mana pakai Excel kemarin anjir. Iya, Aji pakai Excel malah pindah anjir ke atas ya. Nah, cuma drop anjir pakai Excel kemarin. Drop ini biasanya kan kagak. Ini main di atas. Di bawah. Ya, semuanya.
Okay, thank you so much for your questions here. So I tried to answer this one actually, but I'm sorry I shared this one in Indonesian language, but I wish you can see the channels. Yeah, I just want to show you the channels. Yeah, so so here in this regard, this one just to show you the pool fund. Yeah, you can see in the middle here the pool fund. So in the case of pool fund here, so all the fund here will be pulled into the single fund here. So regardless of what the sources of fund in the left side here, regardless of what the sources of fund here, regardless of what the general fund here, so they are pulled in the one sources of accounts, yeah, in the one account. So this one is the pooling of fund concepts, yeah, in figures, yeah. And the next one here, for example, in the case of conversion of fund, yeah. So the conversion of fund here like this. So you can see the arrows here from the left side to the right side, the arrows. So it does mean that from the left side here can be channeled to some different financing side or financing activities, yeah, in the right side here. So it is the conversion of funds. So the left side here can be channeled to some financing activities in the right side. Yeah, it's the conversion of funds. And the last one here, you can see that the allocation of fund here, the arrows, the previous arrows, you can see the direction from the left to the right. But for the allocation of fund here, from the right to the left, yeah, from the right here to the left, yeah. So you can see the main difference now in figures, yeah. So based on this, based on that difference arrows, yeah, from Mr. Aan's questions, so which one is the best approach? In my humble understanding, if the bank would like to be more progressive, yeah, more progressive in terms of intermediating activities, they may choose the pooling of fund concept, because pooling of fund regardless the source of fund, yeah. But for sure, the risk happens will be also more widened or broadened, yeah, because the link and match become not linkage is other. This is the first condition. And the second one, from the perspective of prudential, yeah, prudential activities, for sure, the conversion of fund is the quite good, yeah, because the bank here can use some activities in the financing side, but also considering what is the fund needed in the deposited side. So it does mean that in very simple example, Mr. An, if we deposited $100, for example, so we just channel this $100 to maybe activities that the total amount more or less $100, like that. So in this regards, the asset and liabilities become match. Yeah, even though we don't know in terms of the time maturity, the time maturity is not there. Yeah, but in the third one, is different. The third one, our perspective is coming from the right side first. So how much the financing side that needed? For example, $100, for example. In $100, how much the deposited fund that we have in the left side? Whether $100 or maybe less on that. If less on that, so the bank should look for some other sources of fund so that the bank can match with the $100. Yeah. So in the third approach here, the bank also has some capacity to differentiate in terms of the categories. Yeah, categories mean what the short term and short term, the long term and long term, the medium and the medium. Yeah. So in that case, the mismatch between asset and liabilities in the context of banking operation will be diminished, will be decreased. Yeah, if the bank applied the third approach, the allocation of fund approach. So that one, so the perspective. So it depends actually the bank condition, but the end of the day, maybe in the next day, I will share to you how to maintain the resilience of the banks. So I mean that the bank always tries to maximize the profit, isn't it? Because the main intention of bank is maximizing profit. Yeah. So the bank, I do assure, will apply some approaches. They try to mixing somehow, yeah, with these three different approaches, but which one that make them resilience? Resilience means they can absorb the shocks. At the same time, they remain be able to conduct some daily activities normally. Yeah. So just kind of the combination, and yeah, combination later on, how much the percentage that using the first approach, the second approach, the third approach. Yeah, that will be in the global perspective, will make them resilient. I don't know whether my equation has been answered. Or maybe you have any other feedback first before I continue the next questions.
So I get your explanation, Pak Dimas. So it means that in banks they have some approach, not only one approach, maybe just pooling fund or only the second one, but they can combine the approach to get the best one to in their operation of bank. I think I get what your explanation, very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Okay, and second one, Brother Sulaiman question also quite challenging here about the unrestricted and restricted. Yeah, we call in mudarabah mutlakoh or mudarabah muqayyadah, for example, like that. Yeah. So you see that the choice of whether restricted or unrestricted actually back to the banking intentions. Yeah. What is the bank would like actually to improve or to increase in terms of the performances? Yeah, if the bank would like to perform more, for sure, the bank requested maybe unrestricted deposit. Yeah, because by that the bank can use more flexible, isn't it, rather than the restricted. Yeah. So I guess the division between the category between the restricted and unrestricted here is based on the preference of the depositors. Yeah, And then the second one, to what extent the bank here would like to maximize that condition, yeah, with the existing project or existing maybe strategy that they want to get. But the main idea is that here, whatever the type of deposited fund that the Islamic bank or the bank in general have, they try to make it in the very maximum capacities. Yeah, in maximum capacities, because in the end of the day, whatever amount of deposited fund put by depositors to the bank must pay back, yeah, in the form of return, isn't it? So therefore, the bank here must thinking and try to look for the optimal portfolio allocations, I may say like that. Yeah, so what is the percentage of this portfolio, that portfolios, yeah, so that the bank can remain profitable in the midst of maybe dynamic environment that they are facing. Maybe at the day after tomorrow, Brother Sulaiman, I will share to you a bit about how to calculate the portfolio optimizations, yeah, in the case of Islamic banks, yeah, by using the some maybe approach here. I call unparametric approach. So we may then see that how much the percentage of NPL, for example, the percentage of this, of that, so that the bank remain resilient in whatever condition that they are facing. I guess I hope I answer your question, Brother Simon, but if you feel unclear and unsatisfied, maybe we may discuss later on.
Alhamdulillah, good get real answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and the last question from Brother I forgot the oh, no question. Yeah, the last one. Kante is not giving the question because you have any problem with the voice. Okay, any other question before we move to the next issues about risk management, perhaps? From Sister Devi, perhaps you have any questions, Sister Devi?
No, sir.
Okay, so if there is no question, then let me just carry on to the next one on the risk management. Let me open first my slide. Okay. Okay, let me open first my slide. Just wait for 2 minutes. Okay, I share my slide here. Okay, so this one, I try to say to you about the concept of the risk management. And it can be applied to in general concept, by the way, not only just for the banking, but also for other sectors. Yeah. So if you have seen my slide there, so this one I try to start in the introduction here. Yeah, I wish you agree with me that in the concept of the risk management here, we have to identify the right risk to take on, because we cannot avoid the risk at all. Yeah, but we can just manage the existing risk. Therefore, we should be able to identify the right risk to take on and the ones to avoid. So what the risk that can be taken and what is that be avoided. Yeah. So dealing with the too little risk often means that organization is being too conservative. Yeah. I mean that you are stagnant. Yeah. If you are just maybe not any innovative program, for example, or any innovative activities, you will be safe but stagnant, your organizations. And it's limiting their potential for growth. Yeah, for sure. However, too much risk, the company is likely to crash and burn at some point along the way. So you are too excessive. Yeah. So from this simple sentence, you can see that there are two parts of the risk perspective. The first is the very excessive. The second one is too conservative. Yeah. So what will be our stand then? Our stand should be in the middle, should be in the balance position. So the question remains, how to make it balanced? Yeah. So next 2 days we'll be discuss on it. Yeah. The issue about resilience concept. So in the context of risk management frameworks, we have 4 steps: identifications, analysis, treating the risk, and monitoring and review the risk. So these 4 become part and parcel that applied by banking system or banking sectors. Yeah. So the second one is all project activities carry the risk because we are living in uncertainties environments. Yeah. And these uncertainties could affect the projects either better or worse. So therefore, if we look at the risk, we have to include not only just the negative impacts, but also the positive impacts. Therefore, if you running the data, yeah, somehow your data will be positive, somehow it's negative, yeah, closer to the zero or maybe far from the zero. So maybe it can also be understood as the way how we look at the risk. Somehow closer to the zero, somehow far away from the zero, somehow. So the threats have potentially negative impacts that the project management should be strive to mitigate. Yeah. Organization and stakeholders are willing to accept varying degree of risk. So this is just called risk tolerance. So you need to create the risk tolerance in this regards. Yeah. So once you have understood the concept of threats and opportunities, yeah. So the third one is we try to put it into risk register. So in the concept of risk management, you have to details, yeah, put in all the risks that happen in the banks, for example, and what is the strategy? What will be the steps in order to make it the risk become manageable or maybe under tolerance, for example. Yeah. So this one called risk identifications. Yeah. And once you have identified the risk by using the risk register, you have registered the risk. So then you analyze and evaluate the risk. What do you mean of that? So once you have identified the threat that you're facing, you need to calculate both the likelihood of these threats being realized and these possible impacts. So basically the risk here, if we talk about the risk, basically, we try to understand the concept of likelihood of occurrence, yeah, and the second one is the impact of the occurrence. Yeah, so I repeat again. So if we talk about the risk, actually we try to discuss and try to understand about the likelihood of the occurrence, the risk occurrence. And the second one is what the impact of the risk occurrence. So likelihood and the impact become the one interconnected terms, yeah, that create the risk, yeah, the risk terms. And one way of doing so is to make your best estimate of the probability of the event occurrence, yeah, and then multiplying by the amount of it will cost the thing risk of the event. So this gives you the risk values. For example, the risk matrix is based on the principle have two primary dimensions, yeah, probability, yeah, and impacts, yeah. So probability here becomes 0 and 100. So more than 0, but less than 100%. It cannot be 100% because then it will be a certainty, not a risk. And it cannot be exactly 0 because it would be a risk if it is 0. So it can be called risk if become between 0 until 100. So in between, yeah, 0 and 100 is not part of the interval. And the second one is the impact here, the risk, by its nature, always negative impact. However, the size of the impact varies in terms of the cost and impact on health, human life, and some other critical factors. So the impact here, in nature, negative impact, but it could be positive impact. Yeah, the risk. Let me see like an example, the next example. So the next example here, in order to analyze and evaluate your risk in the context of banking system, for example, so we have to define the risk and probability, impact and probability become 4 different areas. Yeah. So you can imagine the first is low impact and low probability. So if you just imagine, yeah, low impact, low probability. So risk in the bottom left corner, yeah, in the bottom left. So bottom and left, yeah, low impact, low probability, and you can often ignore that. Just ignore, yeah, low impact, low probability. And the second one is low impact and high probability. So in this regard, the risk in the top left corner, yeah, are the moderate importance, yeah, low impact, but the probability quite high. If this thing happen, you can cope with that and move on. However, you should try to reduce the likelihood that will be open, yeah, in this regard, in the second one. And the third one, high impact and low probability, yeah. So the risk in the bottom right corner, yeah, in the bottom right corner, I high importance. So if they do occur, but they are unlikely to happen, yeah. But the impact will be quite dangerous, yeah, if it's not managed well. And the last one is high impact and high probability. So the risk toward on the top right corner, yeah, are the critical importance. So from these 4 different categories or metrics, yeah, in my humble understanding, I guess we have to quite maybe pay attention to the this is, for example, 1, yeah, this is 2, yeah, this is 3, for example, and this is 4, yeah. So if I'm here as the maybe analyst, yeah, we should try to look into the 2 and 3, yeah, not 1 and 4. Because in 1 and 4, we have already understood that the impact will be very high, yeah, and the probability also will be high. So automatically, you are as the analyst or you are as the practitioners, you will do your best in order to maybe manage those conditions become manageable, yeah. But in the second and third part here is somehow is quite moderate, yeah. Low impact, high probability, high impact, low probability. So we cannot measure what then the position in the middle, like actually the third, second and third one, they are in the middle part, yeah. And 1 and 4 here in the left and right side, yeah. For example, in the number 1 here in the left side, and number 4 in the right side. So 2 and 3 here in between 2 and 3, yeah, 1 and 4. So because they are in between, we have to ensure that the impact and probability is manageable. Yeah, therefore, in the concept of resilience that I'm trying to learn, we try to put the policy here in the 50, the value is 50 and 50. So it means that we assume that they have the same or equal probability or equal impacts. Yeah, later on we will discuss. Yeah, and this one, one you have understood the matrix there. Yeah, so we try to deal with these conditions. In case that you have the negative impacts, yeah, the impact is negative. Yeah, so what will be the strategies? There are 4 levels. Yeah, avoid, transfer, mitigate, and accept. Yeah, so these 4 different levels must be having some criteria, isn't it? Yeah. So in the context of risk management, we oftenly create heat maps. Heat map means the indicators, yeah, the indicators and the measurement, yeah, that by using several threshold somehow threshold. So threshold will be used in order to leveling up these 4 different strategies. And dealing with opportunities, we have 4 also: exploit, share, enhance, and accept. So in this regard, the opportunities here try to improve, yeah, improve from the left, from the bottom side, yeah, so that can be improved to the up condition, to the better condition. But in the negative impact here, try to reduce, try to make it maybe less than, yeah, in the context of risk management. And the last one is monitoring and review process, yeah, of risk. So when you have identified, analyzed threat, so you monitor them. So monitoring here basically is the process and involve regular checking of surveillance. So surveillance here, in my understanding, is you have already found the level in which the risk is tolerated. The risk that you are facing seems to be tolerated. For example, between 1 until 2, for example, your risk toleration, your tolerated risk, for example. So you try to maintain that risk. You try to surveillance that risk, yeah, by trying to look at the fluctuation, yeah, the movement. As long as the risk development is within that tolerated risk, so you will be okay then, yeah. But if the risk is up to, or maybe past the upper threshold, for example, so you have to reduce, you have to minimize. And the way around, if the risk is too low, so you have to upgrade the level until it reaches the tolerated risk, for example. So the conclusion is the risk management here process try to combine some steps, yeah. And in the end of the day, we try to make the risk that we are facing is manageable or under our control, like that. I guess that's all for myself here. If you have some response, or maybe you have some experience before, you may share also with us. Yeah, please, sisters, brothers.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, please, Debbie.
Sir, I have 2 questions. First, about how to deal the trade. You say that transfer the risk, right? Okay. I think in the Islamic economy, it's prohibited to transfer the risk. That's my first question. And second question is, when we check the risk, we check the probability, but in what ratio we check the probability? I think I want to know how the practical check to know the risk. Maybe we see in NPL or other. Thank you, Sir Dimas.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Dewi. Yeah, very practical question. Yeah, this one is practical. Yeah, so we need to open some Excel here to show you. Yeah. In terms of the transferring of risk, did you know about insurance?
Yeah, a
Insurance.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So what is the insurance doing actually is transferring the risk. Yeah, by paying certain amount of money in the beginning. Yeah. So actually, the transferring of risk here is the way how to make the risk burden become affordable, become under control. Yeah. Okay, let me give you some example in the Excel, for example, here. Let me open my Excel. Okay. So here just very common data that we have from central bank, for example, from several Indonesian authorities such OJK, central banks. Yeah, so they somehow release the data like this. So they have the overall data, yeah, general data that compile all the banks, NPLs, CAR, ROA, LDR. Yeah, so NPL here is net non-performing loans. The CAR is the capital adequacy ratio, yeah, return on asset, and also the loan deposit ratio, for example. So they release this data, yeah, the data. Yeah, I guess all of you can just retrieve from the respective institutions. But the question remains, by the way, how we define that these numbers are considered to be the ideal numbers from them to be resilient, or resilient in this regard is able to absorb some shocks, external shocks. At the same time, also they manage to be able to facilitate the economic activities. Yeah, so we cannot do it. We don't know that. Yeah, because it's just the values. So therefore, we try to make some analysis. Yeah, so I don't see you here. This is just the step that I'm trying to develop. Yeah, so in the end of the day, yeah, we make this one. So okay, before that, this one. Yeah. So if you see this one, this actually is the data, yeah, that we obtained in the beginning. Yeah, and moving up and down here, yeah, based on the graphical illustrations. But this data, only the data, without putting the threshold. So by having the threshold, we know whether the current state of NPL in the best condition, or the bad condition, in the worst condition, or maybe should be decreased or should be increased, by the way. Yeah, in order to optimize the operational activities in banks. So by having this one, I think Sister Devi can see. So as long as the NPL fluctuation is moving up and down, between the tolerated threshold, yeah, I may say here is the tolerated risk, the risk tolerations, yeah, tolerated risk. So between the 4%, for example, until 1.5%, so it doesn't matter, because bank is they are operational, they have operation in the activity. So, but if the NPL here move be up above, yeah, above this one, so it does mean that the signals will be released. The signals, yeah, what the signals to access it. And the way around, if the graphical here is turned down below this lower threshold, so then the bank also in the position of conservative, isn't it? So the transferring of risk in this understanding, actually how the strategy of the bank to ensure that the risk that they have is always within this tolerated threshold, Sister Dewi. Yeah. So by example, the bank also put some instruments in some Islamic instrument, for example. Yeah, the bank purchase Islamic bond, for example, in order to transfer the risk to the Islamic bond, for example. Or maybe the bank put some their asset to the some projects, maybe in overseas, whatever. So this is just the way, just strategies. Yeah. But in the end of the day, the bank would like to ensure that their NPL is behave or maybe is in the position of within the tolerated risk. Yeah. And this one is another that I said to you before about the heat maps. So in the heat map, we can see that there are some colors, yeah, that okay, sorry for my battery suddenly dry up. Okay, so that's Sister Devi. I think the brief illustrations about what you are questioning just now, about how we managed to have this one. And in the end of the day here, we will have this optimal position, for example, yeah. So if we would like to make the condition of the NPL, yeah, car and others in the balance, yeah, I said to you before that we are not in the position of too conservative or too excessive, but we are within the threshold. So maybe the position of NPL will be suggested to the policymakers between this one and this one. So this one perhaps the thing that I can share to you, Sister Devi. Hopefully I answering your questions.
Thank you, Sir
So by the
Dimas.
way, Sister Devi, could you please introduce yourself? I forgot to ask you before you asking questions. What's your name and then which university you're coming from?
Yeah, I'm Dewi Suryani. I'm a lecturer in Islamic Economics, Universitas Syekh Kuala, sir.
Oh, okay, very far. Okay, thank you. Any other question, perhaps? We have been 1.5 hours. Time goes very fast. Any other questions so far? So all the slide available in the My Class. Yeah, don't worry, sisters, brothers. So you can just download by your own in the My Class. Okay. Any other questions so far? Enough? Any questions? Okay, so if there is no questions, then we can meet again, inshallah, on next Wednesday. Yeah. And next Wednesday, I will share to you the concept of the banking resilience, and then also by considering the concept of risk management, banking operations, and also some policy perspective. Yeah. And please don't forget to always record your attendance in the My Class. Yeah. And also don't forget to fill in the survey, yeah, in the respective days, so that I can get some feedbacks from you. Yeah. And if you have some unclear information about the assignment and others, please don't hesitate to ask in the groups. And last one, before we end the sessions, I forgot to inform you that you need to create us to make essays also. Yeah, the essays. Yeah, I think the detail has been available in the course outlines. Yeah, you just read there the course outline, and please make only 3 pages. Yeah, and then submit by 20th of July, and I will select the best 5. Yeah, so I perceive this as the essays competitions. So we give you maybe certificate of appreciations. Yeah, if you feel that if you are selected as the 5 best essays. Yeah, and then also we have the best participants. Yeah, we will select also some of you as the based on the total score that you collected since beginning until the end, based on the several assessment that I have already shared to you. So please do maximize the opportunities. Yeah, and hopefully you can get some new experience from this course. Okay, that's all. Perhaps before we end the session, could you please turn on the video? We'll take some picture together. Yeah, so if you don't mind. Yeah, I guess the committee will help us to take some picture here. Could you please turn on the video? Maybe just 1-2 minutes. Okay, we'll be waiting for a while. Yeah. Okay, I'll be waiting for another 1 minute. If you can turn on the video. Okay, so Brother Rizky or the committee, can we start the video? Taking the picture. The committee, Rizky, Brother Rizky. Okay, so the photo will be taken by Brother Rizky here. Brother Rizky, have you ready to take some picture from the first page?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, you just count and so the slide, yeah, from what page? First, second, or third? Please, Brother Rizky.
First. Wait. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. In the second page. Wait. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then the third page. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Finish.
Okay, thank you very much, all of the participants. I feel proud and glad to have some engagement with you today. So I do apologize if there are some maybe unsatisfied information given by me to you. And see you again next time, next 2 days. Yeah. And if you have some questions and others, please don't hesitate to just contact myself. With that, I close with Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dokter.